It's movie time, my people, for a remake of Stephen King's classic, for the best DC superhero movie I've seen in years, but for most of all, Taraji P. Henson answers the call.
And that water.
She's a civil rights activist forced to team up with the leader of the KKK. But is the best of enemies the best place for your movie money?
Hit me right about that.
Place to bury our pets and remember them. Well, it seems scary, but it's not.
Not scary or hairy, but it's very much a classic horror story brought back as we take a trip to the pet cemetery. Shh.
Daddy.
Okay, Shazam?
And just in time to save the DC Universe, a film that the whole family can enjoy. And its name is simply Shazam.
Shazam! Gentlemen!
You have bullet immunity!
You're dead.
Sorry about your window!
That movie made me laugh out loud. I had a really good time. We'll get to that in a second. Welcome aboard. Critically Speaking is a show that is all about movies. I am your host, Lee Thomas. Now joining me this week, the usual suspects. Adam Graham reviews movies for the Detroit News. Tom Santilli, the national film critic for Access.com, will join us in just a bit, but it's me and my man Solo at first. And this week, guess what, Adam? We are going straight to the movies.
Let's do it. Hey, but Lee, real quick.
Yes.
Your tie kind of looks like Shazam's lightning bolt.
Oh, I like the way you roll, man. Because I did like that movie, and
Yeah.
I feel powerful.
There you go.
Yeah, good man, good man. But let's talk about a smaller movie and review a film that has a lot of big stars. It's simply called The Public.
Good morning, Nick.
Good morning, Mr. Goodson.
It must be really nice to have a job where you get to sit around and read all day.
It's all drunks and crazy people.
Yeah, he works at a public library, and a group of homeless men occupy this library and trying to stay out of the cold. But when the building closes, one night they refuse to leave. The Public is the name of the movie. It's written, directed, and stars Emilio Estevez, along with Alec Baldwin, Taylor Schilling from Yes, Orange is the New Black, Gabrielle Union, and Christian Slater, who's been making a lot of good movies lately. This is a drama with a message, and at times that message really overshadows everything else. This is a smaller film with a lot of stars, almost too many stars. The story plays out for a point. Now, I give this movie a mild thumbs up, and here's the only reason why it's getting a thumbs up from me. I give it a mild thumbs up. If you wait for it to come out on streaming, I don't think it's worth paying for it to see at the movies. There are a lot better choices, so it gets a mild thumbs up for me if you wait and watch it at home. Adam, let's see what you thought of this one. It's called simply The Public. Did you like this one? Would you recommend this one to the public?
I'm going to dis-recommend this movie to the public. I'm going to say, and I think you're right. This movie could be worth watching on streaming. No real reason to rush out and see it in the theater. There's not a real theatrical experience going on here. Like you said, I think it takes on too much. There's a few too many cast members. It's trying to give this cause a few too many different angles. Alec Baldwin and Christian Slater are both really good, and I liked Emilio Estevez as well.
Yeah.
But I don't think that there was enough tension in this story to really withstand what was going on or kind of the statements it was trying to make. Gabrielle Union plays the sensationalistic TV journalist who's trying to ramp things up. That's another thing this thing's taking on. Like, oh, look, the media and how they cover things. It's just a little too much. I think I liked Emilio Estevez's last trip to the library in The Breakfast Club a little bit more than this one.
I like where you went with that. You're right. The Breakfast Club was a fantastic
classic.
movie. And you know, he's getting a little older, Emilio, and this film felt like if you placed it about 15 years ago, it would have fit in much better.
I think that you're right. Also, just in terms of pacing, it takes about 45 minutes to get into this story. We need to jump right into this thing.
Yeah, I'll agree with you.
Yeah.
How about we get to talking about some big doings? Let's do this. The big film's out this weekend as Taraji P. Henson plays a real-life activist fighting for racial equality.
Mr. Atkins, we done writing letters here. We want to be heard before tomorrow night's ruling.
Ms. Atwater, You know our agenda is tight.
And I need to be heard right now, Ann Atwater. That's me. Yeah, you like that one. Thank you very much. Ann Atwater helped change segregation in North Carolina. And she had to work with the head of the KKK. This is an amazing story called Best of Enemies. We'll talk about that, plus this.
Now you listen to me, Councilman.
You run from foster homes in 6 counties.
There it is. Finally, a good, fun DC comic book movie, Shazam. I'll explain why I really think this is the movie for your family this weekend. Critically speaking, next. Let's get to a superhero movie in theaters. I know you've heard this before, but this one is different. And even though you may have not heard of this guy, just saying his name can change things. Shazam!
Say my name so my powers may flow through you.
But I don't know your name, sir.
Shazam.
Are you for real? Say, okay! Shazam?
Boom! And just like that, newcomer Asher Angel is Billy Batson, the foster kid that becomes the superhero Shazam. Jaimin Hunsu, love this guy. He plays that powerful wizard, the voice you heard, that hands his power to the boy. You don't have to know his name or the character's tangled history, because yes, he used to be Captain Marvel, to appreciate this film. With a slow start, this movie really picks up to me because of the humor. Performances from Zachary Levi as the grown Shazam and Jack Dylan Grazer as this foster brother pseudo sidekick really make this journey fun. There are many things in this film that it does that I haven't seen before in the big screen in a superhero movie. The biggest is the way it integrates the theme of family. I really love what they do at the end of this movie. So like I said, it starts off a little slow with too much groundwork in the early parts, but once it gets going, he gets the power of Shazam. It hits its stride. It's a fun ride. It's well performed. Great heart, great message. Shazam, if you haven't heard, gets a thumbs up from me. I want to be real clear about that. Now let's go to the other critic in the room. That's Adam Graham. Now I really dug this movie. Slow start, but it ends so well. Where are you, up or down on Shazam?
You're totally wrong, Lee, about the slow start to this movie.
Oh,
I'm a thumbs up on this
man.
movie, and I think it's the slow start that is able to, that comes back around in the end and is able to be what makes this movie ultimately fly.
Nice.
It's a grounded story, and I think that all the time it spends in the beginning establishing this character of Billy Batson, establishing his family. He's at a foster home, doing all those things and kind of making it a story about this kid is what makes it work, because Shazam, the superhero, the adult version, doesn't probably show up till like 45 minutes in.
Yeah, it's a ways in.
But then Zachary Levi's got this performance. It's a lot like Tom Hanks in Big. It's a kid playing an adult, and he's kind of thrilled to be an adult.
Yep.
He's just as thrilled to be an adult as he is a superhero. And I really like Zachary Levi's performance. He kind of acts like if Jimmy Fallon had a cape on. You know, he's kind of got that real upbeat positivity thing happening. There's a little too much stuff with wizards. I didn't like that. But I think that Mark Strong is a really good villain, and I think that this is a good, like you said, family film, good humor, and it's probably the best thing that DC has done, at least since Wonder Woman, and it's in that same tier. It's in the upper tier of DC films,
I agree.
DC Comics universe.
I agree. I think this is the best DC film since The Dark Knight. And I have to say, you had me at first because I thought you didn't like the movie, but you actually are a thumbs up.
Yeah,
I'm a thumbs up. Now we know Tom Santilli from Access.com. He is our comic book guy. He likes history. He has passion. And here's what he has to say about Shazam.
So I'm a thumbs down on Shazam, sadly, because I really was looking forward to this movie. You know, as you know, Lee, I'm a huge comic book fan. The previews looked really cool, but I felt like this movie was all over the place and it didn't really know what it wanted to be.
Say my name.
I felt like, you know, in chunks it was really funny. Like whenever it was like a satire of other superhero movies, it was really funny and, you know, laugh out loud kind of funny, but the movie like never stays in that lane. It kind of goes all over the place. At times it's like it tries to be like a serious movie. And I'll also mention that like the first half hour of this film is like atrociously bad, like really bad. Like the acting is bad. everything about it is really bad. And then Zachary Levi kind of comes in and it gets better, but then it's just kind of all uneven all over the place. So for me, it was disappointing. Thumbs down. If I had to give it a grade, I'd give it like a C. This is a thumbs down for Dan Shazam.
I am shocked. I was yelling at the screen while he was talking. He couldn't have been any more wrong.
Was he in the same movie that we were?
We were all in the same theater, I thought.
Did he have Garbage Pail Kids on his wall?
I think he did. He must have been in his son's room. All right, let's talk about the next film. And it has to do with two people from opposite sides coming together, not only for themselves, but for their city.
This here does the talking for me.
I have a Bible.
Oh, you do? Have you read it?
Of course I read it. And we go to church on Sundays.
Well, then you ought to know, CP.
No, what?
Same God made you, made me.
Same God made CriticLee, made this movie. Taraji P. Henson is a civil rights activist. She's Ann Atwater. Sam Rockwell is C.P. Ellis, or Claiborne Paul Ellis, who was really the head of the KKK in Durham, North Carolina in the early 70s. Now, Best of Enemies is the name of this movie. It's the true story of how these two people are forced together to address the subject of integration. The performances, in my opinion, are adequate. They seem like they're pushing stereotypes kind of through mimicry early in the film. But this movie found its way to add mild humor to a subject like racism, which is very difficult to do. The most amazing thing, though, is this story is true, showing a time in American history when, against all odds, these two people, a black activist and the head of the KKK, come together and actually find common ground. This movie felt a bit too long in the beginning, but the subject is so well done and they found a way to add humor to it. I have to give this movie a thumbs up. The best part in this movie, though, stay to the credits and you see the real Ann Atwater and the real Claiborne Paul Ellis talk to you on camera. Best of Enemies gets a thumbs up from me. To the other critic we go on this one, Adam Graham. Where are you on the Best of Enemies?
Ooh, this one takes a hit for me. This one's down. I think like what you were talking about, the stereotypes that they're pushing, that's really what this movie is. It's full of stereotypes, it's full of cliches. It's the kind of movie where you can either hear the title or see the poster and you know exactly the kind of movie that you're getting. Green Book got knocked for being kind of corny about race.
Right.
I think that this movie is so corny, it makes Green Book look like Colors.
Get out.
And you know, Sam Rockwell as kind of like a racist redneck who comes back around in the end. Where have we seen that before?
I know.
Oh yeah, he just did that in 3 billboards and won an Oscar for it.
He did.
And Taraji P. Henson, I've never seen her act so hard in a movie and kind of come off so unnatural. She's kind of acting with a giant A here. She's going for an award, and I don't think that works for her. This movie, it felt to me like history class, and I was kind of shifting in my seat the entire time. I felt like I was being preached to in a way, and I felt like nothing in it felt natural. I respect the story, and I was more into seeing the real life characters at the end of the movie more than I was into anything else in the movie.
You know, I don't disagree with anything that you said.
Well, there we go.
Even though I think I can forgive some of the mistakes. But let's see what the other critic at hand. I talked to, of course, Tom Santilli, Access.com on Skype. Let's see what he had to say about Best of Enemies.
I'm actually a big thumbs up on the Best of Enemies. I really liked this movie, and I felt like it could have been a lot worse if it wasn't for the two leads. I thought Sam Rockwell was absolutely amazing in the movie. One of those things too where I feel like if it would have maybe opened like in the award season, I might react a little differently to this film. I think people are going to overlook these performances just because it came out in April, but they're really both so good. Sam Rockwell, I mean, without really sympathizing, without really, making a KKK guy like a good guy, he really does a good job of giving this guy depth and layers and things like that. I really enjoyed this thing. And I think the acting is great, the supporting cast is really good, and it's based on a true story. So how could people not like this feel-good story? I think it's relevant to today, and it's just a really big, surprising thumbs up for the Best of Enemies.
All right, so you got 2 thumbs up and 1 thumbs down from, that dude. All right, let's talk about a Stephen King classic. It's coming to life on the big screen again with Pet Sematary, and this one had me asking one question.
What's going on?
I wasn't ready to say goodbye to her.
A couple with the young kids, they relocate to rural Maine. They soon discover a mysterious burial ground hidden deep in the woods that unleashes an unspeakable evil with horrific consequences. Woo! Yeah, it's very scary. Pet Sematary stars Jason Clarke, John Lithgow, and Amy Seismitz. I don't know her last name, but it's rated R. Adam, you saw this one. How is it?
Yeah, this is good. It's got good scares. It's got good kind of mood and atmosphere. And it actually kind of talks about death in a real way, which is surprising. This is a good horror movie.
Not that I'm afraid, but I don't go see horror films.
I know.
Next! When we come back, a classic novel makes a heartfelt film. In my opinion, it is called Storm Boy. Critically speaking, next. Now to the movie watch. How many times did I look at my watch during your movie? This week it's an Australian novel, a classic novel come to life called Storm Boy.
Grandpa, tell me about growing up on the beach.
It was called 90 Mile Beach. I was cut off from the world. Then one day the world...
Oscar winner Geoffrey Rush is a grandfather sharing his life about growing up with his reclusive father on a desolate coastline in Australia and forming an amazing bond with a pelican that changes his life and the life of that area. Storm Boy also stars Jai Courtney and Morgana Davies. It's rated PG and I thoroughly enjoyed this film. It's beautifully shot. It's a heartwarming story that I think the whole family will enjoy. It is well worth the time. I looked at my watch twice, and for me, that is a thumbs up. I really enjoyed Storm Boy. To the other critic we go, Adam Graham. You saw Storm Boy as well. Where are you at, and how many times did you look at your watch?
I looked at my watch a few too many times to give this movie a recommendation. I think I looked at it about 5 or 6 times. My issue with this movie largely is the kind of framing device in the beginning that kind of pops up throughout. The movie unfolds as a story that Geoffrey Rush's character is telling to his granddaughter.
Yeah, I like that. He's like reminiscing.
I see it, and it would pop back up every kind of 20 minutes.
Right.
And Geoffrey Rush would say, "Oh, I have to go run to the store, but I'll finish the story later." And it just kind of, and she kept coming back like she was so hanging on his every word.
Right.
I think she was about 10 years too old to be really hanging on every word of this story of a boy and his pelicans.
Right.
Also, they introduce a villain element. There's like an angry townsperson who's like, "You come around here with them pelicans, boy. What are you trying to prove?" It's like this guy's angry at this kid.
He sounded
being
just
friends
like
with
that
birds.
too. That was a good job. He sounded just like that.
I mean, what was that guy's deal? So there were a few too many things like this. It's a cute story, but I think that the way it's told is a little too wonky.
I just disagree. I loved it, man. My heart was it was touching.
You can hang with your pelicans. You can all.
I'm down with the birds, man. I love it. Another film out this weekend stars Captain Marvel's Brie Larson. It's called Unicorn Store. It's about a woman named Kit who receives a mysterious invitation that would fulfill her childhood dreams. This film is directed by and stars Brie Larson. Yes, that's Captain Marvel. And Sam Jackson's in the movie. Unicorn Store, streaming right now on Netflix. Adam, up or down on this?
Yeah, down on this. Brie Larson, the actress, is able to hold what's a pretty preposterous story together, but Brie Larson, the director, kind of drops the ball.
Temporary position.
All right, thank you very much. When we come back, Pet Sematary is our king of the box office?
That's right.
That's next. All right, let's talk about that money that was made at the box office last weekend. And Disney's Dumbo did very well in the #1 position with $46 million. Us in the #2 position going very strong in the #2 with $33 million. And Captain Marvel, the Marvel Captain Marvel, $21 million in the #3 position. This week, the winner should be, according to Box Office Report, is Shazam. The Box Office Report says it should make $55 million in the #1 position this weekend. All right, now let's go to King of the Box Office. Person, place, or thing we think you should pay attention to. And for me, it's that guy right there. He is the director of Storm Boy. Sean Seat is his name, and I love this movie, love this guy. Storm Boy is a well-done film. You can feel the respect to his own Australian history as he was making this movie. Director Sean Seat. Well-done film. I think anyone could enjoy Storm Boy, and you, my friend, are my king of the box office. All right, to Adam Graham we go on this one. Who, my friend, is your king of the box office?
Did you realize that Storm Boy is a remake? The original came out in
1976. It's a remake taken from a classic novel. Yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah.
My king of the box office, queen of the box office, is Jette Lawrence. She is the creepy little girl that's in Pet Cemetery. And if you're making a horror movie where some kid's gonna come back to the dead, from the dead, you need a creepy little girl in a good performance. And she nails it.
Nice.
She's kind of shaky when she's not creepy, but once she comes back from the dead, oh boy, she brings the scares. So Jette Lawrence, congratulations. You are my queen of the box office.
Well done, my friend. Looking forward to next week. Another superhero movie. Are you excited about Hellboy? I'll take that as a no. You're superheroed out.
I'm superheroed out, man.
And it's a new Hellboy. I'm actually looking forward to this one. I don't know. You know
how I roll. Is this a reboot? Is this a remake?
I think it's a reimagination, reboot
we'll
kind of thing.
We'll find out, I guess.
We'll figure it out next week. Thank you, as always, my man. And to you, thank you for watching. As long as they keep making movies, we'll keep critically speaking about those films. Next week, we go to the superhero well yet again, Hellboy. And I'll see you at the theater.